First contact and misunderstanding. The vast emptiness of space shimmered as the human exploration vessel, Horizon, dropped out of FTL near the edges of the Orion Arm. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the main view screen as stars slowly rotated into view. The crew worked silently around her, each focused on their tasks as they prepared for their first venture beyond humanity's known space. Status report, Chen commanded, her voice calm but tinged with excitement. Lieutenant Rodriguez, the ship's sensors officer, responded without looking up from his console. All systems nominal, Captain. We've arrived at the coordinates as planned. No signs of... Wait. He paused, frowning at his readouts. I'm detecting an anomaly. It's... big. Chen raised an eyebrow. Define big, Lieutenant. Before Rodriguez could respond, the view screen flickered, and a massive structure materialized before them. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. A sprawling space station that seemed to defy the laws of physics, its architecture a blend of organic curves and impossible geometries. My God, Chen whispered, her composure momentarily shaken. As the crew stared in awe, a beam of light suddenly engulfed the horizon. Chen tensed, ready to order evasive maneuvers, but instead of weapons fire, a melodious voice filled the bridge. Greetings, explorers. We are the Galactic Confederation. Welcome to civilized space. The next few hours were a whirlwind of first contact protocols and hurried diplomacy. The Horizon's crew found themselves whisked aboard the massive station, confronted by a dizzying array of alien species. The Confederation, they learned, was an ancient alliance of spacefaring races, governing much of the known galaxy. In a grand chamber adorned with holographic star maps, Captain Chen and her senior officers stood before the Confederation Council. Beings of all shapes and sizes regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. A tall, willowy creature with iridescent skin stepped forward. I am High Counselor Sixlith of the Aetherian Collective, it announced, its voice a symphony of harmonics. We welcome humanity to the galactic stage. However, we must address certain concerns. Chen nodded, her diplomatic training kicking in. We're honored to be here, High Counselor. What concerns you? Zixlith's multifaceted eyes shimmed. Our preliminary scans of your vessel and databanks have revealed some troubling information. It seems your species lacks a fundamental concept crucial to galactic peace, the protocol of surrender. A murmur rippled through the assembled aliens. Shen blinked, caught off guard. I'm not sure I understand, she said carefully. Another counselor, a bulbous being floating in a containment field, spoke up. Every civilized race has a clear method of capitulation in conflict. It ensures wars end swiftly, with minimal loss of life. Yet your history, it's filled with prolonged struggles, wars that should have ended but didn't. How do you explain this? Chen felt a chill run down her spine. She realized they were treading on dangerous ground. Counselors, while it's true that humanity has a complex history with conflict, we do have ways of ending wars. Treaties, armistices, but no standardized surrender protocol, Zixlith interrupted. No universally recognized signal of defeat. This is deeply concerning. The human captain took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. With all due respect, our lack of a surrender protocol doesn't mean we're incapable of peace. If anything, it's driven us to find more creative solutions to conflicts. A reptilian creature hissed from its seat. Or it means you're incapable of admitting defeat, a dangerous trait in a spacefaring species. Chen felt her patience wearing thin. Counselors, humanity has fought long and hard for our place among the stars. We've overcome incredible odds, united our planet, and reached out into the cosmos. Our determination, our refusal to give up. These are strengths, not weaknesses. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, some curious, others alarmed. Zixlith raised a graceful limb, silencing the room. Captain Chen, while we appreciate your perspective, you must understand our position. The Galactic Confederation has maintained peace for millennia through careful regulations and shared protocols. A species that doesn't fit into this framework poses a potential threat. Chen's eyes narrowed. Are you suggesting that humanity is a threat simply because we don't surrender easily? We are suggesting, Sixlith replied, its tone growing cooler, that humanity may need to adapt if it wishes to join galactic society. For the greater good, you understand. The implications hung heavy in the air. Chen glanced at her officers, seeing the same mix of disbelief and indignation she felt reflected in their eyes. She turned back to the council, her voice steady but with an edge of steel. Counselors, let me be clear. Humanity has no intention of starting conflicts. We come in peace, eager to learn and contribute to this grand tapestry of civilizations. But we will not change the very core of who we are. Our determination, our resilience, these are not flaws to be corrected. They are the essence of humanity. A tense silence fell over the chamber. The aliens exchanged glances, a mixture of emotions playing across their exotic features. Some seemed intrigued, others wary, and a few openly hostile. Finally, a new voice spoke up, a being composed entirely of swirling energy contained within a translucent shell. Perhaps it said, its words resonating directly in their minds, we are approaching this from the wrong angle. Captain Chen, would you be willing to share more about humanity's history, to help us understand the context of your unique perspective? Chen nodded, a small smile tugging at her lips. Of course, it would be my pleasure. For the next several hours, Chen and her officers recounted tales from Earth's history. They spoke of great leaders who rallied their people in the darkest hours, of ordinary citizens who refused to bow to tyranny, of scientists and explorers who pushed the boundaries of the possible. With each story, the atmosphere in the chamber slowly shifted. Some counselors remained skeptical, but others leaned forward, captivated by the tales of human perseverance. They asked questions about Earth's world wars, about the space race, about humanity's struggle against climate change, and their eventual triumph in uniting the planet. As Chen concluded her impromptu history lesson, she could see the wheels turning in the aliens' minds. They were beginning to understand, even if they didn't fully agree. Sixlith spoke again, its tone more measured than before. You've given us much to consider, Captain. Your species is unlike any we've encountered. This presents both opportunities and challenges. Chen nodded. We understand, High Counselor. All we ask is for a chance to prove ourselves as valuable members of the galactic community. The energy being shimmered, its voice resonating with what almost sounded like excitement. I propose we establish a cultural exchange program. Let representatives from both sides learn from each other. Perhaps we can find a middle ground. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Even the more skeptical counselors seemed willing to consider the idea. Sixlith inclined its head in a gesture of acceptance. Very well. Captain Chen, we will need time to discuss this further among ourselves. In the meantime, you and your crew are welcome to explore the station. We will reconvene in one standard rotation to discuss the next steps. As the humans filed out of the chamber, Chen felt a mix of relief and apprehension. They had avoided an immediate diplomatic crisis, but she knew this was only the beginning. Humanity's first steps into the galactic community would be fraught with challenges. Outside, as they walked along a transparent corridor offering breathtaking views of space, Lieutenant Rodriguez sidled up to Chen. Do you think they'll accept us, Captain? He asked quietly. Chen gazed out at the star-studded expanse, a determined glint in her eye. They'll have to, Lieutenant, because one thing's for certain, we're not going anywhere. Humanity has come too far to turn back now. As if to punctuate her words, a distant star flared briefly, its light reaching across the vast distances of space. It was a reminder of the wonders that awaited them, and the challenges they would face. But Chen knew that whatever came next, humanity would face it as they always had, with unwavering determination and an unyielding spirit. The journey into the heart of galactic civilization had only just begun. The Confederation's ultimatum. The human delegation's stay aboard the massive Confederation station stretched from hours into days. Captain Sarah Chen found herself caught in a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings, cultural exchanges, and tense negotiations. The station itself was a marvel of alien engineering, with gravity-defying architecture and technology beyond humanity's wildest dreams. But beneath the wonder, Chen could sense an undercurrent of unease. On the fifth day, as Chen was reviewing reports in her temporary quarters, a chime announced a visitor. The doors slid open to reveal Zixlith, the High Counselor's willowy form seeming to shimmer in the artificial light. "Captain Chen," Zixlith intoned, its harmonious voice tinged with an emotion Chen couldn't quite place. "The Council has reached a decision. Your presence is required immediately." Chen nodded, straightening her uniform. "Of course, High Counselor. Lead the way." As they walked through the station's winding corridors, Chen noticed an increase in security personnel. Beings of various species, all armed with weapons she couldn't begin to comprehend. The sight sent a chill down her spine. They entered the Grand Council chamber, now eerily quiet compared to the lively debates of the past few days. The assembled counselors regarded Chen with a mixture of curiosity and what she could only describe as trepidation. Zixlith took its place at the center of the chamber, its iridescent skin pulsing with subdued colors. "Captain Chen, representative of humanity," it began, its voice echoing in the cavernous space. "The Galactic Confederation has carefully considered your species' unique perspective on conflict and surrender." Chen stood tall, her face a mask of calm diplomacy. "And what have you concluded, High Counselor?" Zixlith's multifaceted eyes shimmered. "We have determined that while humanity's resilience is admirable, your lack of a formalized surrender protocol poses an unacceptable risk to galactic stability." The chamber seemed to hold its breath. Chen felt her heart rate increase, but kept her voice steady. "I see. And what does the Confederation propose?" "We are prepared to offer humanity a place within the Confederation," Zixlith continued, "but under strict conditions. You must implement a standardized surrender protocol to be used in any future conflicts. Additionally, we require that Earth submit to oversight from the Confederation's peacekeeping force." Chen's eyes narrowed. "Oversight? You mean occupation?" A reptilian counselor hissed from its seat. "A necessary precaution. Your species' history of prolonged conflicts cannot be ignored." "Furthermore," Zixlith added, its tone growing colder, "humanity must agree to limitations on its military capabilities and expansion. All for the greater good of galactic peace, you understand." Chen felt a surge of anger, but kept it carefully contained. "And if we refuse these terms?" The energy being that had previously shown interest in human history spoke up, its voice resonating directly in their minds. "Then, regrettably, humanity will be deemed a threat to galactic stability. Appropriate measures will be taken to contain that threat." The implication hung heavy in the air. Chen's mind raced, calculating the potential consequences. Earth was just beginning to stretch its wings in interstellar travel. They were no match for the combined might of the Confederation. "How long do we have to consider your proposal?" Chen asked, her voice carefully neutral. Zixlith's skin rippled with patterns Chen now recognized as agitation. "You have one standard rotation to communicate with your government and provide an answer. We believe this is more than generous, given the circumstances." Chen nodded slowly. "I understand. If there's nothing else, I'll need to contact Earth immediately." As she turned to leave, the energy being's voice echoed in her mind once more. "Captain Chen, please understand. We do not wish for conflict. We merely seek to maintain the peace that has allowed our civilizations to flourish for millennia." Chen paused at the chamber's entrance, looking back over her shoulder. "With all due respect, Counselor, peace maintained through ultimatums and threats isn't peace at all. It's just a nicer word for subjugation." With that, she strode out of the chamber, her mind already formulating plans. As soon as she was out of earshot, Chen tapped her communicator. Lieutenant Rodriguez, gather the senior staff. We need to talk. Minutes later, in a secure conference room provided for the human delegation, Chen briefed her officers on the Confederation's demands. The room erupted into a cacophony of disbelief and outrage. They can't be serious. Lieutenant Commander Ayako Tanaka, the ship's tactical officer, exclaimed. Limiting our military oversight of Earth. It's tantamount to colonization. Dr. Elias Mbeki, the chief science officer, shook his head gravely. The technological gap between us and the Confederation is vast. If they decide to enforce these demands, we don't stand a chance, Rodriguez finished, his voice grim. Chen held up a hand, silencing the room. I understand your concerns. Believe me, I share them. But right now, we need solutions, not pessimism. Our job is to buy Earth time to prepare for whatever comes next. What are you suggesting, Captain? Tanaka asked, leaning forward. Chen's eyes glinted with determination. We're going to negotiate, stall, and gather as much intelligence as we can. Dr. Mbeki, I want you and your team to analyze every scrap of data we can get on Confederation technology. Look for weaknesses, anything we can exploit if it comes to a fight. Mbeki nodded, already pulling out his datapad. Rodriguez, work with communications. We need to get a message to Earth, but we can't risk the Confederation intercepting it. Use every encryption method we have. Aye, Captain, Rodriguez replied, a determined set to his jaw. And me, Captain? Tanaka asked. Chen's expression hardened. You and I are going back to the negotiating table. We're going to push back against these demands, try to find a compromise. But more importantly, we're going to map out every inch of this station we can. If things go south, we need an escape plan. As her officers set to their tasks, Chen turned to the viewport, gazing out at the unfathomable expanse of space. Somewhere out there was Earth, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing around it. She thought of the billions of lives hanging in the balance, of humanity's dreams of peaceful exploration now teetering on the brink of conflict. We've come too far to back down now, she murmured to herself, her reflection resolute in the transparent aluminum. Whatever happens, humanity will face it head-on. Over the next several hours, Chen and her team worked tirelessly. They pored over data, crafted careful responses to the Confederation's demands, and discreetly gathered every scrap of intelligence they could. All the while, the clock ticked down on their deadline. As Chen prepared to return to the council chamber for another round of negotiations, her communicator chirped. It was Rodriguez, his voice tight with urgency. Captain, we've just detected multiple ships dropping out of FTL near the station. They're Earth ships, ma'am. Chen's blood ran cold. What? That's impossible. They couldn't have received any message from us yet. I know, but they're here. A whole fleet of them. And Captain, they're armed for bear. Chen closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. The situation had just become exponentially more complicated. As she strode towards the council chamber, her mind raced with possibilities. Was this a rescue mission? A show of force? Or had Earth somehow learned of the Confederation's ultimatum and decided to take preemptive action? Whatever the case, one thing was clear. The delicate dance of diplomacy was over. Humanity's first real test in the galactic arena was about to begin, and the stakes couldn't be higher. As the doors to the council chamber slid open, Chen steeled herself for what was to come. The fate of humanity now rested on a knife's edge, and she was determined to see her species through this crisis, no matter the cost. The Confederation was about to learn firsthand why humans didn't believe in surrender. The Battle of Saul. The council chamber erupted into chaos as news of the human fleet's arrival spread. Alien representatives shouted over one another, some calling for immediate military action, others urging caution. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the center of the storm, her face a mask of calm determination. High Counselor Zixlith's iridescent skin pulsed with rapid patterns of agitation. "Explain this, Captain Chen," it demanded, its harmonious voice strained. Is this your species' answer to our generous offer? An act of war? Chen raised her hands in a placating gesture. High Counselor, members of the Council, I assure you I'm as surprised by this development as you are. Let me contact my superiors and get to the bottom of this. The energy being Counselor flickered intensely. And why should we trust you now? This smacks of deception. Before Chen could respond, her communicator chirped urgently. She glanced at the assembled aliens, who nodded tersely. Taking a deep breath, she answered. This is Admiral Helena Vega of the Earth Defense Fleet, came a stern voice, transmitted across the chamber speakers. I'm here to ensure the safe return of our diplomatic mission. Captain Chen, are you and your crew being held against your will? Chen's mind raced. She could feel the weight of countless alien eyes upon her, the tension in the room thick enough to cut with a knife. Her next words could very well determine the course of human history. Admiral Vega, she replied carefully, we are currently engaged in delicate negotiations with the Galactic Confederation. While the situation is complex, we are not being held hostage. However, I strongly advise against any aggressive actions at this time. There was a pause, and Chen could almost hear the gears turning in the Admiral's mind. Understood, Captain. But be advised, we are prepared to extract you by force if necessary. The fleet will hold position, but we expect regular updates. Vega out. As the transmission ended, Chen turned back to the Council. As you can see, this is a misunderstanding. Earth is simply concerned for our safety. I propose we use this as an opportunity to open a direct dialogue between the Confederation and Earth's leadership. Zixlith's multifaceted eyes shimmered with what Chen had learned to recognize as suspicion. A convenient explanation, Captain. But the presence of an armed fleet speaks volumes about humanity's true intentions. The reptilian counselor hissed in agreement. We should strike now, while we have the advantage. Show these upstarts the true might of the Confederation. Chen's heart raced, but she kept her voice steady. Counselors, I implore you to reconsider. This is a chance for peaceful resolution. War would be disastrous for all parties involved. As the debate raged on, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. A holographic display materialized in the center of the chamber, showing a tactical view of nearby space. Chen's blood ran cold as she saw new signatures appearing. Confederation warships, dozens of them, converging on the human fleet's position. What is the meaning of this? She demanded, turning to Zixlith. The High Counselor's skin pulsed with complex patterns. A precautionary measure, Captain. Surely you understand. Before Chen could protest further, the tactical display erupted in a flurry of activity. Energy signatures flared as weapons powered up on both sides. In the blink of an eye, the delicate balance shattered. The battle of soul had begun. Chaos engulfed the council chamber as reports flooded in. The human fleet, though outnumbered, was putting up a fierce fight. Confederation ships, accustomed to swift victories against less advanced races, found themselves challenged by Earth's unconventional tactics and surprising technological capabilities. Chen watched in horror as the conflict unfolded, her mind racing to find a way to stop the madness. But events had spiraled beyond her control. The Confederation, certain of its superiority, had underestimated humanity's resolve. As the battle raged, something unexpected happened. The energy-being counselor, who had shown interest in human history, suddenly spoke up. Wait, look at their tactics. They're not trying to destroy our ships. They're disabling them. Indeed, the human fleet was employing precision strikes, targeting propulsion and weapons systems, rather than going for outright destruction. It was a tactic that required incredible skill and restraint, and it was working. Zixlith, its skin now pulsing with confused patterns, turned to Chen. Explain this, Captain. Why aren't your people pressing their advantage? Chen stood tall, her voice ringing with conviction. Because despite what you may think, we don't want war. We want understanding. This, she gestured to the tactical display, is humanity showing restraint. even in the face of overwhelming odds. The council chamber fell silent, all eyes fixed on the unfolding battle. The human fleet, though taking heavy damage, continued its measured approach. They were creating a stalemate, a scenario the Confederation had never encountered before. Hours passed, and the toll of battle became clear. Confederation ships hung disabled in space, their crews alive but unable to continue fighting. The human fleet, battered but unbroken, held its position. Admiral Vega's voice once again filled the chamber. "Galactic Confederation, you have witnessed a fraction of humanity's resolve. We do not seek conflict, but neither will we submit to threats or ultimatums. We propose an immediate ceasefire and the reopening of diplomatic channels." The council erupted into frantic discussion. Chen seized the moment, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Councilors, you've seen firsthand that humanity cannot be easily subdued. But you've also seen our capacity for mercy. We could have destroyed your ships, but we chose not to. Isn't that worth something?" Zixlith's multifaceted eyes shimmered as it considered Chen's words. Finally, it spoke. Perhaps we have misjudged your species, Captain Chen. Your actions in battle speak louder than any words could." The energy being counselor flickered in agreement. "I concur. Humanity has demonstrated both strength and restraint, a rare combination in our experience." Slowly, a consensus began to form. The Confederation, shaken by the unexpected outcome of the battle, agreed to a ceasefire. As tensions eased, Chen felt a glimmer of hope. It wasn't peace, not yet, but it was a start. As the council prepared to open formal negotiations with Earth's leadership, Chen found a moment of quiet. She gazed out at the starfield, where disabled ships from both sides drifted silently. The cost had been high, but a greater conflict had been averted, for now. Lieutenant Rodriguez approached, his uniform singed but his eyes bright with pride. "We did it, Captain. We showed them what humanity is made of." Chen nodded, a small smile tugging at her lips. "We did, Lieutenant. But this is just the beginning. The real challenge lies ahead, building trust and understanding between our civilizations." As if on cue, her communicator chirped. It was Admiral Vega, requesting Chen's presence for the upcoming negotiations. With a deep breath, Chen straightened her uniform and turned away from the viewport. The Battle of Sol was over, but humanity's struggle for recognition in the galactic community had only just begun. As she walked towards the council chamber, Chen's mind was already racing with ideas, strategies, and hopes for the future. One thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had arrived on the cosmic stage, and they were here to stay. Turning the tables. The weeks following the Battle of Sol were a whirlwind of diplomatic negotiations, tense standoffs, and cautious cultural exchanges. Captain Sarah Chen found herself at the center of it all, serving as a bridge between humanity and the Galactic Confederation. The massive Confederation station, once a symbol of alien superiority, had become a neutral ground for talks. In a grand chamber, representatives from Earth sat across from a diverse array of alien species, each side eyeing the other with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. Admiral Helena Vega, a stern woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that missed nothing, led the human delegation. Chen stood at her side, providing insight into Confederation culture and politics. "Let me be clear," Vega stated, her voice firm but not hostile. "Earth has no interest in galactic domination. Our goal is peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit." However, her eyes narrowed slightly. "We will not compromise on our sovereignty or our right to self-defense." Zixlith, still serving as the voice of the Confederation, rippled with complex patterns. "Your military capabilities have given us." Pause. "Admiral. The Confederation has maintained peace for millennia through careful regulation of member species' armed forces." Vega leaned forward, a glint in her eye. "And yet, when faced with a new species, your first instinct was to demand our submission or face annihilation. Forgive us if we're hesitant to disarm." The energy being counselor flickered thoughtfully. Perhaps there is a middle ground. What if Earth were to join peacekeeping missions? It would allow you to maintain your military while contributing to galactic stability. Chen saw an opportunity and spoke up. That's an excellent suggestion, counselor. In fact, I have a proposal that might address both sides' concerns. All eyes turned to her as she activated a holographic display. What if we established joint human confederation exploration teams? We could share knowledge, technology, and resources while building trust between our civilizations. The idea sparked intense debate, but Chen could see the seeds of acceptance taking root. Over the next few days, the negotiations gained momentum. Earth agreed to share some of its unique technological innovations, particularly in the fields of adaptive AI and nanomedicine, in exchange for access to Confederation star charts and faster-than-light travel improvements. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Some Confederation species, particularly those with more militant histories, viewed humanity's rise with alarm. Reports began to filter in of skirmishes on the fringes of Confederation space, where human exploration teams clashed with alien militias. One morning, as Chen was reviewing reports in her temporary quarters, Admiral Vega stormed in, her face a mask of controlled fury. "We've got a situation, Captain," she growled, tossing a datapad onto the desk. "The Krax hegemony has launched an attack on one of our colony worlds." Chen's blood ran cold. The Krax were a warrior species known for their aggressive expansion. They had been among the most vocal opponents of humanity's inclusion in galactic affairs. "How bad is it?" Chen asked, scanning the report. Vega's jaw tightened. "Bad. They hit hard and fast. The colony's defenses are holding for now, but they won't last long without reinforcements." Chen's mind raced. "Have you informed the Confederation Council?" Vega nodded grimly. "They're deliberating on an appropriate response. But our people don't have time for bureaucratic hand-wringing." A plan began to form in Chen's mind. "Admiral, I have an idea. It's risky, but it might just work." Hours later, Chen found herself on the bridge of the horizon, now refitted with some of the Confederation's advanced technology. A joint task force of human and alien ships hung in formation around them, volunteers who had agreed to assist despite the Council's indecision. "All ships report ready, Captain," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced from his station. Chen nodded, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of the jump point ahead. "Take us in." The fleet erupted from jump space near the embattled human colony. The sight that greeted them was one of chaos and destruction. Krax warships pounded the planet's defenses, while swarms of fighters engaged in dogfights in the upper atmosphere. "Battle stations," Chen ordered. "Remember the plan. Disable, don't destroy. We're here to end this fight, not start a war." The human-led fleet sprang into action with a coordination that surprised their alien allies. Confederation ships provided cover fire, while human vessels executed precision strikes, targeting the Krax ship's vital systems. On the planet's surface, drop ships deployed mixed teams of human and alien peacekeepers. They moved with efficiency born of their recent joint training exercises, securing key locations and evacuating civilians. The Krax, caught off guard by the unexpected resistance and the unfamiliar tactics, began to falter. Their rigid command structure, accustomed to overwhelming force, struggled to adapt to the fluid, cooperative strategy of the human-led force. As the battle turned, Chen opened a channel to the Krax flagship. "Krax hegemony, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Horizon. Your attack on a peaceful colony is in violation of Confederation law. Stand down immediately, or we will be forced to take more aggressive action." For a tense moment, there was no response. Then, to everyone's surprise, the Krax ships began to power down their weapons. On the view screen, a hulking reptilian figure appeared, the Krax war leader. "How?" it growled, its voice a mixture of rage and bewilderment. "How did you defeat us so quickly? And why do you show mercy when victory is yours?" Chen stood tall, her voice steady. "Because that's who we are. Humanity doesn't seek to dominate, but we will always defend our own, and those who cannot defend themselves. Your people fought bravely, but this battle is over. Let's talk instead of continuing this pointless violence." The Crack's war leader studied Chen for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Perhaps we have underestimated your species, human. We will withdraw." As the Crack's fleet retreated, a cheer went up across the human and Confederation ships. They had achieved victory not through overwhelming force, but through cooperation, adaptability, and a refusal to give up. In the days that followed, news of the joint fleet's success spread rapidly across Confederation space. The conflict with the Cracks, while brief, had demonstrated humanity's potential as a stabilizing force in the galaxy. Back on the Confederation station, Chen and Admiral Vega stood before the Council once more. This time, the atmosphere was markedly different. There was still caution, yes, but also a newfound respect. Zixlith's skin pulsed with patterns Chen now recognized as admiration. "You have given us much to consider, humans. Your actions in defense of your colony, and your restraint in victory, speak volumes." The energy being counselor flickered brightly. "Indeed. Perhaps it is time we reconsidered our approach to galactic governance. The old ways may not be sufficient in the face of new challenges." Admiral Vega stepped forward, her bearing proud but not arrogant. "The galaxy is changing, counselors. Humanity is ready to play its part in shaping a better future for all species. We extend our hand in friendship and cooperation." As discussions began anew, with talks of reforming Confederation policies and establishing new protocols for joint peacekeeping operations, Chen felt a surge of hope. The road ahead would not be easy, but humanity had proven its worth on the galactic stage. They had faced the ultimate test, the threat of annihilation, and emerged not just victorious, but as a force for positive change. As Chen gazed out at the star-studded expanse beyond the station, she knew that a new era of galactic history was dawning. Humanity, with its unique blend of determination, adaptability, and compassion, was ready to help shape that future. The universe, vast and full of wonders, awaited their exploration, and they would face whatever challenges came next the same way they always had, together with unwavering resolve and a refusal to surrender their principles. The next chapter of humanity's cosmic journey was just beginning, and the possibilities were as endless as the stars themselves. A new galactic order. 5 years had passed since the Battle of Sol and the subsequent Cracks conflict. The galaxy had changed in ways few could have predicted, and at the heart of that change was humanity's growing influence. Captain Sarah Chen, now Admiral Chen, stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, a massive structure orbiting a neutral star system. The station was a testament to the new era of cooperation between humanity and the Galactic Confederation. Its unique design blended the organic, flowing architecture favored by many alien species with the practical, modular approach of human engineering. Chen watched as ships of various designs docked and departed, a constant flow of commerce, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. She allowed herself a small smile, remembering the tumultuous early days of humanity's entrance into galactic society. "Admiring the view, Admiral," a familiar harmonic voice asked. Chen turned to see Zixlith, the former High Counselor, now serving as the Confederation's ambassador to Earth. The Aetherian's iridescent skin pulsed with patterns Chen had learned to read as contentment. "Just reflecting on how far we've come, Ambassador," Chen replied. "There were moments when I thought we'd never see this day." Zixlith's multifaceted eyes shimmered. "Indeed, your species has surprised us at every turn. Who would have thought that the lack of a surrender protocol would lead to such innovation?" Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Dr. Elias Mbeki, now head of the Joint Species Scientific Initiative. The scientist's eyes sparkled with excitement as he approached. "Admiral, Ambassador, you won't believe the latest breakthrough from the xenobiology team," he said, barely containing his enthusiasm. We've found a way to adapt human stem cell technology to work with Jaxari physiology. The implications for interspecies medicine are staggering." Chen nodded, genuinely impressed. The integration of human medical techniques with alien biology had been a major focus of research, yielding benefits for all species involved. As they discussed the implications of the discovery, a alert chimed softly. A holographic display materialized, showing a live feed from the Galactic Council chambers on the Confederation homeworld. Admiral Helena Vega, now Earth's representative on the Council, was addressing the assembled delegates. Her voice rang clear and confident through the station's speakers. "And so, honored members of the Council, I propose the formation of the Galactic Exploration and Peacekeeping Force. This joint initiative will bring together the best of each member species, allowing us to face the unknown challenges of our universe together." Chen watched with pride as the Council erupted into enthusiastic debate. The idea of a truly integrated galactic force, once unthinkable, was now being seriously considered. It was a far cry from the Confederation's initial demand for human disarmament. "Your Admiral Vega has a gift for diplomacy," Zixlith observed. "She reminds me of you in those early negotiations, Admiral Chen." Chen chuckled. "High praise indeed, Ambassador. Though I think Helena has a bit more patience than I ever did." As they continued to watch the Council proceedings, Chen's mind wandered to the myriad changes the galaxy had seen in the past 5 years. The integration of human AI technology with Confederation systems had revolutionized space travel and communication. Earth's unique approach to problem-solving had led to breakthroughs in energy production, terraforming, and even in mediating long-standing conflicts between alien races. But it hadn't all been smooth sailing. There had been setbacks, misunderstandings, and even a few armed skirmishes. The Crack's hegemony, while no longer openly hostile, remained a concern. Some conservative factions within the Confederation still viewed humanity's rapid rise with suspicion. Yet for every challenge, there had been an opportunity for growth and understanding. Human adaptation of alien philosophies had led to new schools of thought on Earth. Alien species, in turn, had embraced aspects of human culture, from art and music to the concept of individual rights. "Admiral," Dr. Mbiki's voice broke through Chen's reverie. "We're receiving a transmission from the horizon. They've made first contact with a new species in the Andromeda Galaxy." Chen's heart raced with excitement. The horizon, under the command of her former XO, Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez, had been on a long-range exploration mission. This was the moment they had all been waiting for. As they gathered around the holographic display, Chen felt a sense of déjà vu. Once again, humanity stood on the brink of a new chapter in galactic history. But this time, they weren't alone. They faced the unknown with allies at their side and a wealth of shared knowledge and experience. The image stabilized, showing a strange, crystalline being. Its voice, translated through the advanced AI systems, rang out clear and curious. "Greetings, explorers. We are the Lumini. We welcome you to our realm." Chen exchanged glances with Zixlith and Dr. Mbeki. In that moment, she saw reflected in their eyes the same mixture of wonder, excitement, and determination that she felt. "This is Commander Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Ship Horizon, representing the United Galactic Alliance," Rodriguez's voice replied. "We come in peace and friendship, eager to learn and share knowledge." As the first exchange with the Lumini unfolded, Chen felt a profound sense of pride and hope. Humanity had not only found its place among the stars, but had helped forge a new path for galactic civilization. The universe, vast and full of mysteries, stretched out before them, and humanity, with its unwavering spirit and newfound allies, was ready to face whatever challenges and wonders awaited. As the transmission continued, Chen turned to Zixlith and Dr. Mbeki. "Well," she said, a smile playing on her lips, "shall we prepare a proper welcome for our new neighbors?" The Aetherian's skin pulsed with excitement, while Dr. Mbeki nodded enthusiastically. Together, they began to plan for the next great adventure. The story of humanity's rise in the galactic community was far from over. In fact, it was clear that the most exciting chapters were yet to be written. With their unique blend of determination, adaptability, and an unshakable refusal to surrender, humans had not only secured their place among the stars, but had helped reshape the very fabric of galactic society. As Admiral Sarah Chen looked out once more at the bustling activity of Harmony Station, she knew that the future, while uncertain, was bright with possibility. Humanity's journey among the stars had only just begun, and the universe would never be the same again.